Hello there and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We're about to embark on a journey together, not to some far-off place, but to the most incredible universe imaginable, the one that exists right inside of you. So, let's start with a really big question, shall we? Who are you? And I don't mean your name or your job. I mean, really, who are you? Beneath all the changing moods, the endless stream of thoughts, and even beneath the physical body you see in the mirror, what's the one part of you that's always there? What remains? To answer a question that big, it helps to have a map. And as it turns out, ancient wisdom gives us a surprisingly clear one. It's a map of our inner world, which shows us that we're not just one solid thing, but actually a being made up of 4 distinct layers. So, let's start exploring. All right, so here are the 4 layers we're going to dive into. Think of it like moving from the outside in. We'll start with the most obvious one, the body. Then we'll peel that back to look at emotion, and then personality, until we finally arrive at the very center, what we can call the true self. Our journey begins with the layer we all know so well, the one we live in every single day, our physical body. It feels so real, so solid, so much like us, right? But let's take a closer look at what it's actually made of. In this particular way of seeing things, our physical form is called the 4-element body. Now, that name itself is a huge clue. It tells us that our body isn't something we really own, but more like something that's been temporarily put together from the world around us. And this is how it breaks down. Our body is composed of earth. That's the food we eat, the nutrition. It's made of water, which flows through our system, air, which is the very breath we take moment to moment, and fire, the warmth that keeps us alive. So yeah, our body is absolutely real, but it's also temporary. It's always changing, following that natural cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and eventually death. That's why it's considered a borrowed form, an amazing vehicle for this life, for sure, but not the whole story of who we are. Okay, let's move one layer deeper. Once we look past the physical, we find ourselves in a world that's not as solid, but wow, can it feel way more powerful? We've arrived in the turbulent, always shifting sea of our emotions. Ancient texts use this very specific number, 84,000, to describe just how vast our emotional world is. Now, that's not meant to be a literal count, of course. It's a poetic way to say, hey, there's an almost infinite spectrum of feelings we can experience. And interestingly, they're often called bubbles of illusion. I love this metaphor. Just think about it. An emotion, like a sudden wave of joy or a flash of anger, can feel like it's everything, like it's our entire reality in that moment. But just like a bubble, it's pretty fragile. It pops up, it shines for a bit, and then poof, it's gone. Another one takes its place. And because our emotions are always coming and going like this, they can't possibly be the steady foundation of who we truly are. Traveling deeper still, we come to the layer that really shapes our character, how we show up in the world, how we interact with others. This is the complex layer of our personality. Now, this model has a fascinating take on personality. It doesn't see it as one fixed thing. Instead, it's this complex, dynamic dance between 16 different inner aspects, or natures. And the whole system is powered by what's called yin-yang energy, that constant push and pull, that balancing act between opposing forces. So you ever feel like you're a totally different person in the morning than you are in the evening? Well, this gives us an idea why. Our personality is mainly driven by 2 big forces: greed, which is really about our desires and what we get attached to, and imagination, our thoughts and ideas. These 2 things shape how we deal with the big stuff in life: wealth, beauty, fame, even food and sleep. It's this dynamic that creates a character who can be sunny in the morning and rainy in the afternoon. It's what modern science calls personality, and what folk wisdom might just call our nature. Okay, we've journeyed through the outer layers, through the body that's always changing, the emotions that come and go like waves, and the personality that shifts like the weather. And now we've finally reached the very center of the map. We've arrived at the core of our being, your true self. So, what makes the true self so different from everything else? It's this, it's constancy. This is the part of you that does not change. Not through space, not through time. It's not really a thing you can grab onto. It's more like a pure, silent awareness. The part of you that just is. Now, this is a subtle point, but it's so important. Think about sound for a minute. Sounds are always changing, right? Loud, quiet, nice, annoying. But your ability to hear, the fundamental sense of hearing itself, that's always there. The true self is like that. It contains the pure sense of hearing, not the sounds. It holds the pure sense of seeing, not all the different images. It's the silent, steady awareness that has been behind every single experience you've ever had, and it's wrapped in this naturally balanced, calm energy. And what's really amazing is that this idea of a core self isn't just from one tradition. You see it pop up in different ways all over. Folk wisdom might call it tum, which is a word for the heart mind. Modern psychology gets close with the concept of the true self. And in Buddhist teachings, it's known as Buddha nature. They're all different maps, but they're all pointing to that same profound truth at the center of who we are. So, understanding this map of yourself is a huge first step. But the real power, well, the real power comes when you start using it to actually navigate your life. How do we go from just knowing about these layers to actually living from a place of inner strength and calm? Well, here's how it works in practice. It's a three-step process. First, we practice learning to receive whatever comes our way with our true self. That is, with that calm, non-judgmental awareness. Just let things be without reacting right away. Then, step two, we can choose to use our personality to analyze the situation. Use that brilliant mind of yours to figure things out. And finally, step three, we can consciously choose which emotion is the best one to interact with the world in that moment. See the difference? We're shifting from just reacting on autopilot to consciously responding. And that really is the whole point. This knowledge is empowering. It gives you a choice. You can spend your life getting tossed around on the turbulent surface, a victim of your changing body, your fleeting emotions, and your shifting moods. Or you can learn how to anchor yourself in that calm, steady, unchanging core of your being. And so, I'll leave you with this final thought to carry with you. You now have a map to your own inner world. The question isn't just, who am I anymore? The question is, now that you have the map, where will you choose to live from? Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. It truly has been an honor to explore this with you. If this resonated, please do subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss out on our next journey into knowledge together. Until then, be well.